welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Hour number three's guests are soon to arrive. Antonio Brown of the Pittsburgh Steelers from the upcoming film Spaceman about Bill Lee, Josh Duhamel, and four-time Super Bowl champion Joe Montana, all here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who's next in studio guest, sitting right here, a filmmaker of the new docuseries Religion of Sports that's coming this fall to audience. The producer-director for that awesome Kobe Bryant's Muse show that just was on Showtime. The producer and director, Gotham Chopra. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How are you, Gotham?
I'm good.
Good to see you. So this new Religion of Sports series, it is essentially about going around the globe and showing how sports can actually replace religion in a way. What is that? The concept
That's provocative.
of it, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, sports is a religion. Everything we associate with traditional religion exists in sports. We go on pilgrimages, the cathedrals that sports are played in, the holy wars that we fight. So I think I think sports is better because you can participate. You show up to games and miracles happen. You're talking to a Patriots fan, so I was there last year during the Malcolm Butler miracle, and sports is great that way. I mean, there's something mythic about sports, and that's what the series is about.
So give me a few examples of what you're planning on doing for this series.
So it's global, like you mentioned.
Yes.
El Clasico, that is the game every year. They play it several times a year between Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. It is the Spanish Civil War, played out through that game, because this is more than a regional rivalry. This goes back to the days of Francisco Franco and the fascists of Madrid, of central Spain and northern Spain, Catalan. So every year that they play this game, it's an actual replaying, and the fans bring that sort of mythology to the game. That's one. I would say, right now what's going on in Cleveland. Can, LeBron James, the prodigal son who's come home, lead his people to the promised land, like win a championship?
So the Cavs as a religion, as you're saying?
I'd say Cleveland is a cursed city, right? Curses exist in sports, but they also exist in religion. So, yeah, I think, there's mythic stories that play out through sports.
LeBron would be the rabbi? Would he be the rabbi? If we're going to go,
he'd be the prodigal son.
Rabbi LeBron for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And interestingly enough, of the 6 episodes in season 1 that'll be again on Audience, which is the home of this show and the one right next door, Dan Patrick and Undeniable with Joe Buck, and so many other great shows.
It's awesome.
That are on Audience. Tell me about your executive producers and their role in this. Who are your executive producers?
So I've been fortunate to get Michael Strahan, prolific both on the field and now certainly off of the field, and Tom Brady, somebody I've admired as a long time as a Patriots fan, but also become friends with, and sort of schemed my way towards getting the two of them involved.
Tom Brady is going to be an executive producer on this show. So is he going to come in the edit bay? I mean, what do you think, Tom?
I mean, Tom, he's one of those, people who's been residing at the epicenter of this religion for a long time. So, I mean, even as I've been developing this idea for the last year plus, I've definitely been able to, get Tom's insight, Michael. So, I mean, Tom's pretty committed. He's one of those athletes that's very committed to his craft, and it's, I think, especially during the season, it's pretty much impossible to get him, to pay attention to anything else. And I definitely admire that as a fan. But yeah, he's been great just in terms of even curating some of these ideas that we're going to be covering year 1.
Yeah. And I mean, this docuseries, again, Religion of Sports, coming to Audience, where you can watch Kingdom and other great shows. Why'd you choose Audience? I'm sure you had your choice of where you could show up.
It feels kind of like a wide open playing field. You guys have sort of created this incredible runway, and I just think the enthusiasm that we got from all the executives over at the network was really exciting, and a real commitment actually to go out and make a show as opposed to the traditional, pilot and sort of go through all of these steps. I mean, we're going for it.
Producer, director, Gotham Chopra, some of the other things that you've done, Decoding Deepak, that's your dad.
That is my dad.
So how's it to do a documentary on your father?
I think I realized actually more and more I worked on that documentary, it was really about me more than it was about my father,
Right.
and how I sort of related to him. So, but it was great. I think at first it was a little challenging, but then it was just kind of going on a year-long road trip with my dad, and that was fun.
Mm-hmm. And then Kobe Bryant. What was that like?
Well, if there's one
working with
person
him?
who's the complete antithesis of my father, it would be Kobe Bryant. But Kobe, look, I have so much admiration, even though I grew up and I still am a Celtics fan.
Right.
And that was a constant source of trash talking.
You got a thumbs up from Brockman on that one over there.
Celtics looking good. Third place as of last night, or as
Well,
of
I
this
mean,
morning.
all you got to do is just be one of the top 8, which is not very difficult in the Eastern Conference these days.
Yeah.
But I do like what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, Kobe. I loved working with Kobe. Look, the guy. Thing I admire most about Kobe is he's unabashedly committed to his craft. For 20 years, and no matter the consequences, that guy. Just is so disciplined. I mean, there's a spirituality to that. He's like a martial artist when you watch him.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I had the opportunity when he was working back from his injury, his Achilles injury, to sort of be in a gym alone with Kobe. And there is he's like a martial artist. You feel like you're, in an empty dojo with Bruce Lee or in a cathedral with Michelangelo. I mean, that guy loves what he does and he works so hard at it. And so there's a discipline there that is really admirable.
Well, he had many successful years with the Zen Master, to continue this sort of theme. But it also seems to me right now that he has announced he's out, that there's a certain resignation about how bad the rest of his team is right now and his role, and there's not an acceptance, but there just seems to me like, okay, I'm going to try and live in the moment aspect for Kobe that we have never seen before.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
For sure. And he, I think he's had to sort of take on a new perspective because, in the history of sports, there's probably been very few who are so committed to winning, who are such winners and love winning so much. And so obviously the last few years have been really difficult probably for him. But I do think, at this point, there's a certain reflectiveness for him also, just enjoying the journey. And also, sort of internalizing and figuring out what it's like to go through this for him.
I've got Gotham Chopra here for just a couple of more minutes. So I noticed you sent out a tweet that you were coming on to the show, and you won't show your bitterness towards the Broncos.
I'm going to try.
You're a Patriot fan.
Die hard.
How are you viewing this Super Bowl 50? Are you going to view it through what it could have been like if you were there?
I mean, speaking of resignation, I'm just sort of resigned to the fact that it's another game. I mean, I don't think I have I think I'm rooting for the Panthers if I'm honest about it. But I'm sort of sad about what could have been, but also confident in what will be next year.
Okay. Is your dad also a Patriot fan too?
My dad is the least sports fan ever. He knows nothing about sports.
So how did you get into it?
I don't know. I mean, it's just like, my parents were immigrants to this country, and I think growing up in Boston, my assimilation came through sports. I went to a really, a parochial school that had a very heavy sports emphasis. Right. And so I just that's how I became an American.
Well, good luck to you on this, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it on Audience coming out this fall. Religion of Sports. Keep it in your mind's eye, people. It's coming out this fall, and you're just here promoting it at the Super Bowl this week?
Yeah.
Very good. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Audience Network. Am I allowed to do that? Brockman Law, am I allowed to? I mean, I've been on it since October of 2014.
I think you just did.
I think you're the ambassador of the Audience Sports Network.
Well, I mean, Dan's been on it much longer. Dan's been on it much longer. Well, don't say that. He's just right next door. He's probably listening in with his stethoscope up against the wall, curious as to what's going on.
You're an evangelist.
Say that again?
Evangelist.
That's what I am?
Yeah.
But I'm a Jewish guy. So,
okay, rabbi.
Okay, I'm the rabbi. I'm a cantor. I'm the cantor of Audience. The rabbi's next door. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much.
You bet. That's Gotham Chopra. Please watch Religion of Sports when it hits Audience later on this fall.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.